In this video, we'll see a typical day in the life of a Gemini student and how Gemini helps to maximize his learning potential, quickly collects and reports data, keeps the line of communication between team members running smoothly, and even increases his memory and ability to learn information in the real world.
Oh, come on, time to get up.
Well, Belle.
Oh, good talking. Here he is.
Abe's mom starts his videos by clicking on Play Current Session, and then they can play while he's eating. A high chair is easiest, as you can be sure that he's correctly oriented toward the computer, but a table and chair can work as well.
Look, bear.
Johnny
Yeah.
laughs when he sees the bear and yells,
Good job.
"Bear!" When Johnny's done eating, Mom makes a quick note. He said bear again when the video was playing and then repeated it when I got his teddy bear. As you can see, the first time he said bear was just yesterday in speech therapy. Gemini allows all the members of a child's team to communicate with each other about Johnny's progress. This leverages the opportunities to learn from each new triumph. It's off to preschool, where Johnny's in class with 8 other children. Let's hear from a teacher who's been using Gemini in the classroom.
The thing that intrigued me at the very, very beginning is that the children, particularly the nonverbal kids, really sat and watched the mouth. You know? And before they even tried making sounds, I could see them looking at that mouth on the video and trying to make their mouths move the same way. I've done it with all my kids. Verbal kids, I kind of used it for social stuff, dealing with social situations, more functional kind of communication. I've used it with 2 of my kids who were nonverbal a few months ago when I started it. It was pretty exciting because within the first week, 2 weeks, they actually started imitating the words on the video. And prior to that, they hadn't even imitated sounds.
And how old were they?
One was almost 4, and the other one almost 6, and they had both been in program for 3 years, and they'd not gotten any verbal imitation from them at all, not even sound imitation. So when they started imitating the video, it was pretty exciting.
How's their language now?
Amazing. The one little guy who's now 4, he imitates all words. Not just limited to the video. He imitates other children, he imitates other adults, and he's beginning to put 2 words together. The other little gal, who is 6 now, she's speaking in sentences. Still pretty much at an imitation level, but the spontaneous language is starting to come. When you find something that makes it work, it's so thrilling. And so I have the computer set up over here for the video modeling. So the volume is down low, but when the children come in, I put in a video, and I have some that I've programmed set up for group, not specifically one individual, but for the group. And they're really cute. They'll come and they pull up their little chairs, and they sit and they watch it, they talk to each other, they look at each other, and they'll go back and forth. And they'll come over and watch it for a few minutes and then go back to the sand table or go back to the art center and then come back and sit for a little while. And so I just leave it running all day. The 2 who don't just sit and watch it, up until we started using this, were nonverbal kids. But when I have it on in the classroom, they'll play and something will catch their attention, and they'll kind of walk around and look at it and watch it for a couple of minutes and imitate a couple things, and then they go back to what they're doing. Then they'll hear something, or visually something will catch their attention, and they come back over and they look at it. Or they'll come over and see that other kids are watching it, and they'll join the other kids for a few minutes. So they just kind of go in and out of it all day. They can do it by themselves, they can do it with an aid, but actually what I found, started using it for, is that it's very reinforcing, rather than using like edibles or a reinforcer toy as positive reinforcement for having completed a task. They get computer time. I have token boards, and it'll just be they earn their tokens. This one is for piano, but I have a computer one too, so after they've earned 5 tokens, then they'll get 3 or 4 minutes on the computer and do the video modeling. It gives me a chance to take data and set up the next thing, and they're learning at the same time.
And now it's time for Johnny to see Susie, the SLP. The therapist looks in the notes. She sees that he has said bear twice now and brings out her picture book of teddy bears. Johnny's proud to be able to point to the pictures and say, bear. Susie then clicks on Daily Log. She writes, "Wow, he learned 20 words already this week. He's doing really well, which is great. Keep up the great work, team." He's also pointing very naturally now to the bears in my book. Susie then clicks on Daily Logs and selects a 10 for his behavior score. It's time to make a new session. In less than a minute, she's created a new session that he can view at home or in class until they meet again, greatly increasing his rate of progress. So in one pull-out session, Susie SLP helped Johnny generalize the information learned while at home, tested and recorded his data, made notes to the entire team, and created his curriculum for the next week. It's time to go see Phil, the physical therapist, for the first time. When he arrives, Phil looks at his notes and sees that Johnny's just learned the word bear. He clicks on Beginning Imitation Postures in his Gemiini account, and he and Johnny watch the video as he puts the bear in correct postures. When the video's done, it's time for real-world therapy. Phil tells Johnny it's his turn. Johnny did great, and Phil adds 2 more activities that he'll do with him next week, creates a session, and assigns it to Johnny to watch at home. After making the assignment, he makes a note to Mom. "He did great in his first PT session today, and we got my teddy bear in on the act. He's strong in most areas, but he had a little trouble with these 2 postures. Please have Johnny watch these at least 5 times before our session next Thursday. It's better if he watches them Wednesday evening or Thursday morning so that they're fresh in his mind." At the end of the session, Phil clicks on Daily Logs, chooses PT, and then gives him a behavior score of 9. It's lunchtime. Mom clicks on Play in the assignments section so Johnny can watch his video during lunchtime. Although he really loved to watch animal videos, he isn't so excited about greetings and shapes. This is why the humor piece his teacher put in about funny cat antics is so important. He'll watch an entire session just to see those crazy cats again. It's time for a nap. Mom tucks Johnny in and says, "Night-night." Much to Mom's surprise, Johnny says, "See you later." Wow, he was paying attention to the greeting videos. Mom clicks on Daily Logs and she writes a note to the team. He didn't seem like he was paying attention to his new videos, but he just said, "See you later." He actually said waiter, not later. When I tucked him in. While Johnny naps, Mom decides they'll bake some cookies and go for a walk when he wakes up. She creates a session with walk, cookies, butterfly, duck, tree, flower, spatula, bowl, stir, oven, cookie. When Johnny wakes up from his nap, he watches his new video while he eats a snack. After he sees the video 2 times, he's done with his snack. Mom pulls out the bowl, spatula, and ingredients. Johnny's excited because he knows they're making something yummy from the video. They set the timer, and as soon as it goes off, he says, "Ready," just like he heard in the video. Mom pulls the cookies from the oven, and Johnny says, "Ha, ha." He also knows they are hot from the video. While they're cooling, Mom decides to go for their walk. When they get to the duck pond, he says, "Duck," and points to the ducks. Mom rewards him with a big hug, and they both go and look at the ducks. While he's feeding the ducks, Mom takes out her phone, and in the time it takes to send a short text, she's told the entire team about his new word by recording it in the notes section. During the rest of the day, Mom puts Gemiini on in the living room with older video sessions for review. Johnny stops and looks once in a while. Sometimes he repeats the words, and sometimes he just walks on by. But this refresher is great for long-term retention. It's time for dinner, and Johnny watches his most current session in his high chair or at the table. When he's done with dinner, we would have watched it all the way through about 2 times. The next day in his speech session, Susie the SLP reads all the notes from Mom. She writes, "That's great. We'll work on L's next. Make sure you don't model it with your tongue showing. I'll add some L words to his session so that you can see the correct tongue placement." In less than a minute, 3 new words with the letter L are added to Johnny's session, and information between the team members has been successfully used to leverage his success. For older children, Gemiini can also be used during meal times or just playing in the home. It's important to remember that students need not sit and watch the videos to be effective. Just by having them play in the home, the student will learn from them. It can be used in the classroom with headphones as well. For students in an inclusive classroom, Gemiini can be used to teach a subject simultaneously along with the teacher. Gemiini can also be used to pre-teach a subject the night before. When students are already familiar with material, they have less anxiety about participating in class discussion. Hi, my name's Brian Kaspar. I'm one of the founders of Gemiini. People often ask us how many times a child should watch these videos per day. The answer is as much as possible. At our home, we had our children watch it 2 times through at each meal, which was about 6 times a day. Speech and behavioral therapy is a group effort, and Gemini allows every member of that group to work at their fullest potential. It allows computers to do what they do best, which is to collect data and to input information in a repetitive, familiar, predictable, and stress-free way for a child. It allows people to do what people do best, which is to excite a child, inspire a child, direct a child, and to love a child. And remember, 40 viewings is just a suggestion. It isn't an all or nothing proposition. If you can only get 5 or 10 or 20 viewings in a week, do it, and your child will be better for it. Thanks for using Gemini, and we hope your child has the same rapid progress ours did.